Hello friends, welcome to Beast Recap. I'm your host. Loki escaped along with the variant from Mobius and Loki continuing his journey with that variant. Today the television series I'm going to explain is a Loki, Season 1 Episode 3, Action Adventures and Fantasy TV series from 2021. Episode 3, in the opening C20 and the variant having margaritas in a bar. While C20 praises the beverages, variant is unimpressed. C20 accepts the challenge after hearing about brain freeze that can freeze someone's memories in place. She sips from her icy margarita and loses memory of the moment, when the variant asked her how many persons were guarding the timekeepers. When C20 suddenly realizes that it is now night instead of day, variant reminds him that they are best friends and again asks about the number of guards on duty for the timekeepers. C20 starts to answer, but then remembers the bar and doesn't know the variant. Variant tells C20 that she's probably just tired. In the actual world, Variant uses an illusion to enchant C20's mind in the security room of a superstore. Variant then queries C20 on how she finds the lift that takes her to the timekeepers. Variant notices a TVA squad approaching as C20 describes it on the monitors. Through a portal, Variant enters the TVA, moves down the hallway, and approaches a Minuteman, touching him with her magical touch. Her touch has no effect, and the Minuteman attacks her. When Variant fights back and disintegrates him up with his own baton, and then 3 Minutemen start to run towards the Variant. They are defeated hand-to-hand combat by her. Loki arrives through the portal and realizes where he is. He takes his daggers, and searches for the Variant, and he saw the unconscious Minuteman, who is attached by her. After finding the lift, Variant kills the 2 Minutemen who were guarding it. Loki shows up, and as they get ready to fight as Variant draws her sword. He says that he has a few questions, and asks if she's sure she's a Loki. They fight and Loki tells Variant that he thought they might work together. He tells her that he can now see that she is blind, and when he tries to grab her, Variant fights back. Loki and the Variant stop fighting when Ravana and 2 other Minutemen show up. Variant puts her sword to Loki's throat, and tells Ravana that she'll kill him if Ravana comes any closer. Ravana tells Variant to go for it, and Ravana rushes towards them to kill them. Loki and Variant are dropped into a tent through a portal created by Loki using the Tempad. Loki and Variant start to fight to take the Tempad, and then Variant managed to grab the Tempad first, and she saw that Tempad power got low. Loki teleports behind her, and he throws her down, and he takes the Tempad. Variant recovers and tells Loki that he doesn't know how to use the Tempad. And she takes offense when he calls her a Loki, and then Loki makes Tempad disappear using his magic. When they get ready to fight, a piece of rock hit the ground through the ceiling. A meteor starts falling and hitting the planet, and they are on Lamentus 1 in 2077, when they step outside. Variant says that Lamentus the moon is about to crash into the planet overhead and destroy itself. As they dodge the meteors, Variant says that it's the worst apocalypse that had its coordinates stored on the Tempad, and they take cover under a truck. They run to a mining shack where they find a shelter, and Variant applies her magic to Loki's neck. When Loki wonders what she is doing, he understands that she is attempting to charm him. He says that it won't work since his mind is too strong, and they both draw their swords. Loki asks if they're going to fight again, and suggests that they call a truce to get the Tempad working. The reason Loki helped Variant to escape from the meteors, according to Variant, is because he needs her to recharge the pad. Loki agrees, and Variant says that as soon as she gets the Tempad on, she's going back to the TVA to finish what she started. Variant says that there's power for the Tempad somewhere on the moon, and once they have it they can travel through time and space. Variant goes outside and Loki goes after her. Loki asks what's the plan and she replies that a town is nearby. Loki calls her as Variant, and she takes offense, and tells him not to call her as Variant, because she don't like people calling her as Loki. And then she tells to Loki that she changed the name as Sylvie. Loki says that changing the name is not his style. She points out that Loki went to work for the boring TVA, and Loki insists that he's just a consultant. Loki points out that Sylvie's plan was to create the ultimate power vacuum, and then walk away, and Sylvie doesn't respond to his barb. When they get there, the town seems to be uninhabited. Sylvie tells that the moon will be destroyed in 12 hours, and conditions on Lamentus will only become worse. When the two discover a lit sign on a building, Sylvie instructs Loki to hand over the Tempad. He tells her that he's not giving it to her, and she'll have to try harder. Sylvie informs him that a huge power source will be required to charge the tempad. After leaving the town, Sylvie draws her sword and kicks in the front door of a house. Sylvia is shot by the woman inside with a blaster, which causes Sylvia to fall backward to the ground. Loki asks apology to the woman, and the woman says that she enjoyed shooting Sylvie. He says that he also enjoyed it, and he insists that they didn't come to harm her. When the woman doesn't believe him, Loki enters, sees a picture of the woman with her husband Patrice, and then uses magic to assume the appearance of the husband. When Loki approaches the woman and saying that she still looks beautiful, the woman shoots back at him with a blaster. The woman comes outside and what they want from her after saying that Patrice hasn't been so nice in 30 years. When Sylvie asks about where everyone is, the female homesteader replies that they are all at the evacuation vessel. The female Loki figures the vessel would have enough energy to power the tempad, and the woman tells them that it's at the train station on the edge of town, but they'll never get a ticket. Sylvie heads there and Loki follows her. People are waiting in queue at the station for a ticket to board the train that will take them away. Arriving with Loki, Sylvie informs him that she will enchant a guard, make him guide them through the crowd, and if anyone who gets in their way, Loki tells that you will have him shoot and killing everyone. Using his illusion, Loki disguises himself in a guard's uniform and declares that he will carry out the task in his own way. Sylvie is taken to the guard station by Loki, who treats her like a prisoner. They were allowed to pass by the guards, but the next guard stopped them and asked their ticket. When Loki's attempt to bluff fails, Sylvie touches the guard and enchants him. While under his spell, the guard informs his superior that Loki and Sylvie were requested by headquarters over radio that morning. Loki and Sylvie are allowed past by the two guards, and they take a seat in a booth in a dining car. Sylvie argues that Loki didn't have a plan, and when she yawns, Loki asked her to take a rest if she is tired. She says that she can't sleep around untrustworthy people. When they talk about Loki's mother, Loki says that Frigga, Loki's mother, was the one who taught him magic. When Sylvie inquires about Frigga, Loki responds that she was a good, honorable, and wise Asgardian queen. When Sylvie asked whether Loki born to his mother Frigga, Loki acknowledges that he was adopted. And then Loki asks about Sylvie's mother, and she says that she barely remembers her, and Loki reminiscences about his childhood with Frigga to Sylvie. Loki shows Sylvie some of his magic by conjuring little fireworks. He says that Frigga was the kind of person in whom he wanted others to place their trust. Finally, he says that Frigga is dead. Loki asks where Sylvie learned to enchant people, and she says that she taught herself. When Loki asks how Sylvie controls others' mind, and she tells that can she demonstrate her magic trick on him, and show how does it work, for that he refuses to allow her. And a waiter approaches to offer them champagne. Loki raises both glasses in a tribute to the end of the world before sipping. When Sylvie brings up the subject of love, Loki inquires whether Sylvie has loved someone. They both acknowledge that they have ever experienced true love. Loki says that love is something to think about, but he may need another drink to do so. He is advised by Sylvie that stealing a civilization's power source won't be simple, and that they should take a rest. Loki tells her that he'll rest his way. As the train leaves, Sylvie falls asleep. When Sylvie wakes up, she saw that Loki is leading a song. He then switches to a calmer song and appears pensive. Loki switches back to the livelier song, then offers a toast to Sylvie. Loki appears to be drunk when Sylvie approaches him and inquires about his illusory uniform. She tells him that she noticed some people staring strangely at Loki, and reminds him that they should be keeping low profile. Loki says that he has an answer to her earlier question, conjures an illusion of a dagger, and says that love is like dagger. When Sylvie informs him that it is a terrible example, Loki causes the dagger to vanish. A man who had gone out and returned with guards and point out to Loki. When one of the gate guards requests to see the couple's tickets, Loki summons a fireworks on his hand. The guards are unimpressed, and when the guards try to take Loki away, and Loki fights back. When Sylvie joins the fight, Loki throws his dagger at a guard who has Sylvie in his hands, but it misses the guard and almost hits Sylvie. Loki is attacked by a second guard, then Loki throws him out of the window. After Sylvie became free, two guards throws the Loki out of the window, and she manages to escape from guards and jumps out the window to get the tempad. Loki gets up and finds Sylvie where she jumped off the train. After standing up, she draws her sword and she asks Loki to give her the tempad. He summons it to his hand, but when they see that it is broken, Loki says that he can repair it. When Loki drops the tempad pieces on the ground, Sylvie calls him a clown. Sylvie says because of Loki singing and dancing is the reason for all problem, and Loki tells he enjoys being like that. Sylvie says that she also enjoys more than Loki, but she tells that she will not do anything that harm to the mission. Loki tells Sylvie that she cannot defeat the TVA, and that her mission is doomed. Sylvie storms off and screams in rage, then she sits down. Loki comes over and sits down next to Sylvie, and asks does her scream made her feel better. Sylvie says that makes her feel better, and she tells Loki should try it sometime, and he asks what they do now. She points out that Loki damaged the tempad, causing the planet is about to be collide with Lamentis. Sylvie explains that the evacuation ark is destroyed because it never leaves, and Loki points out that it never had them on it. They plan to hijack the evacuation ark and escape from Lamentis before it gets destroyed. Loki and Sylvie walk along the train tracks, and Loki tries to get Sylvie to explain her powers. She refuses, and Loki tries to find out more about her. Sylvie says that she wants to use her secrets as a tactical advantage, and Loki says that he just needs to know that he can trust her. Sylvie, who has been convinced, reveals that she needs physical contact to control them, and she has issues with minds that are more strong. She creates a bond by conjuring up an imaginary illusion from their memories. Sylvie says that C20's mind was so strong that she had to pull a memory from before C20 joined the TVA. When Loki asks what she's talking about, Sylvie explains that C20 was once an ordinary Earthling. Loki says that he was informed that every TVA employee was created by timekeepers, and Sylvie explains that every employee is a variant. The two arrive in the city before Loki can investigate the situation further. They saw the ark ahead of the crowd, and Sylvie figures they can reach there by going through the crowd. Rioters are everywhere in the street, and meteors are falling. They enter a pub while fighting with riots before moving into the street. As they get closer, the ark is destroyed by debris. After Loki and Sylvie watching the ark destruction, Sylvie walks away from the place, and this is the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want the recap of all episodes, playlist link in description, go and check it out. And how was the episode 3? Comment below if you like this video. Smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe my channel, and don't forget to follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. Link in description. And if you want any other movie recap video, comment below and I'll see you in the next awesome recap video. Until that, have fun guys.